Hello, welcome to episode 88 of the Waste of Web Space podcast.
Starring
Jimbo.
And Fisher.
And very nice to be back a week later. How are you doing, Fisher? All good?
Yeah, very good, thanks, Jimbo. How are you?
Yes, not bad, thanks. Hello to everybody listening, watching live, listening later on, watching later on. We are live as we're recording this, so please do feel free to drop us a message if you'd like a little shout out or whatever. And today's podcast episode is pretty much dedicated to a great person, isn't it, Fisher?
It is. Someone who who just made people happy during those sad times, who made you sort of feel proud, and was just a great citizen.
Yeah. So Captain Tom.
No, sorry. I'm talking about Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who passed away this week. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But our episode itself is dedicated to Sir Captain Tom, or Captain Sir Tom. Which way round is it? I'm not sure.
I think it's Captain Sir Tom Moore.
Captain
Sir
Tom
title,
Moore. Okay.
With a load of medals on his chest, who sadly passed away this week, aged 100. And it's strange, a year ago, he wasn't sort of in the public domain at all. But these strange times and his incredible efforts got him a knighthood and catapulted him into the public domain.
So, would you like to introduce the song then, seeing as you wrote this one this week and you're starring it as well?
Yeah, so it's a little known fact that Captain Sir Tom Moore was a Yorkshireman and he loved his cricket. And in honour of England playing cricket on Channel 4 on terrestrial TV again for the first time in 16 years, seems a bit like the trolling him a little bit. I mean, this fella would have wanted to watch cricket on terrestrial TV, then passed away, and then decided to put it back on there. We've done the theme tune to Channel 4 Cricket, Mambo number 5, but we've rewritten it for Captain Sir Tom Moore.
So it's He Filled the Nation with Pride.
He filled the nation with pride.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, he filled the nation with pride. Lap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tom Moore's walking in the garden and we're filled with pride. From the man on the street to the shop on the corner, the boys and girls stood what they're doing, they rushed to sponsor. Sir Ulrich felt like last week, but now he's gone and we all wanna weep. He showed poise, dignity, honour and grace. He restored our pride in the human race. So what did he do? He raised 33 million, my lord. He's age 99 with a Zimmer frame, so give it a try. It's all good, it's the best we've seen, so he was knighted by the Queen.
A little bit of charity in his life, a whole nation by his side. A number one with Michael Ball, a world record breaking haul. A little bit of help for the NHS, a load of army medals to impress. A little fact as our heart sank, in 1983 he appeared on Blankety Blank. So yeah, there you go. Captain Sir Tom Moore, or Captain Sir Tom Moore, Sir Captain Tom Moore. Go on, Fisher.
Jimbo, it really doesn't matter to Jimbo, let's be honest. He's got 2 titles that we're never going to have.
Exactly. But I would like to take my hat off to him, because it is getting him away my headphones as well. But I'm wearing a hat, so I might as well take my hat off to him.
Why were you wearing that hat?
Well, we try and wear something different each week for the podcast. Well, I've kind of running out of new things because I with lockdown and everything, it's not been easy to go and get my £3 t-shirts from from Poundland. Yeah, from Free Poundland. Yeah. So I've just thought I'd wear a hat instead, and that is my greatest PowerPoint Showman hat, which I returned to presenting this week. Actually, I did a bit of greatest PowerPoint Showman presenting this last week. So that's a little bit of news from me. So should we do his breaking news? So yeah, breaking news time then. Fisher, have you got anything to tell us?
I had steak for tea again last night. Different steaks this time. Obviously, it's not going to be the same ones we ate a week ago. They're from Asda. I thought I'd want to compare what the 15 quid steaks were like from the farm shop to Asda's fillet steaks for about £8 or £9. And I'm not sure there's a huge amount. I mean, the Wagyu ones that we had a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, were nicer. But the ones last night were pretty good for £8 or £9. And to be honest, I've become a bit obsessed with steak now. So I've decided that I like my steak, I like my beer, I like doing my podcasting. I'm going to present my own podcast, Jimbo. And it's going to be called Steak and Ale and Audio. And I'm going to compete with you.
I think there's going to be issues with that. There's going to be some sort of copyright issues, I think.
Jimbo, I don't care. I'm going it alone. Steak and Ale and Audio, I mean, just as good as Waste of Web Space, but better than Ale and Audio.
All right.
I'm talking about steak as well.
Fair enough. I mean, I actually went for a steak yesterday as well. Because obviously I try not to eat as much meat nowadays. I'm trying to cut down on my meat. So I went to the supermarket and they've got a great plant-based range there. So I picked up what I thought was a plant-based steak, and I got it home and realised it wasn't. So that was a mistake. But anyway, hey, thank you. So my breaking news then is a couple of things. First of all, I need to remind myself what those things are. I finally sort of caved into pressure and actually watched The Tiger King.
All right.
Have you watched it before?
No, I mean it was about a year ago, wasn't it? Sort of. It was lockdown. It was at the start of lockdown 1. That's what Tiger King was all about.
Yeah.
Was any good or?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. I thought it'd be a bit more like a reality TV type thing, a bit sort of like Only Ways Essex type thing. That's why I was never interested. But actually, it's kind of done in the style of a bit of like a true crime documentary, you know, like things like The Staircase and Making a Murderer, which I did quite enjoy. So I watched it, and yeah, it was a bit like that, but only a bit more bizarre. Definitely worth watching if you get a chance to. And you can zip through it quite quickly as well. So.
Is it Fly on the Wall? Is it Tiger on the Wall documentary kind of style? Or?
It is, yeah. Yeah. It's just sponsored by Kellogg's. What do you call them?
Frosties,
that's the one.
Frosties, there we go. Yeah.
They're great, yeah.
They're great, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
That and Esso, the petrol station. You've got a tiger in your tank.
It's also my Twitterversary. It was my Twitterversary the other day. 12 years I've been on Twitter.
Oh, congratulations.
Probably about 80% of those tweets are, maybe 50% are trading tweets. The other 50% is talking about our podcast, probably.
Yeah, I think you've had quite a decent time on Twitter over those 12 years, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some notable interactions. Maybe we could do I suppose I probably know most of these things on there, but it could be a good test to put to other people about some of the interactions you've had with Twitter.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I remember Greg James once tweeted saying he was enjoying listening to your radio show on Penistone FM.
Yes,
am I right?
He did.
You also had Zoe Ball liking one of your tweets to do with Love Island. You've also had... Did you have a radio DJ saying that you did a good job presenting something?
That might have been
Stephanie
Hurst.
Like
Yes, Stephanie Hurst.
Yeah. Oh, was that formerly... Sorry, I know you shouldn't do this, but this is a transgender radio presenter called Stephanie Hurst. And at the time, was she Stephen Hurst?
Simon,
sorry.
Yeah.
I do apologise. So
it could be a good quiz from that. Yeah, and I think there's probably been a few more as well, which also today will lead into something a bit similar with my show and tell, a bit like my last show and tell a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, so there we go. Yeah, I thought we could definitely do something, some sort of quiz about something to do with how many tweets people have done and who follows who and things like that. I think we've kind of done briefly things like that before, haven't we? When it comes to celebrities and so on as well. But anyway, should we move on and get prepared for we need to get his beers out and everything, don't we? Should we get on with the beers first?
Yeah, come on then. Do you want to go first or not?
Well, I've left mine in the fridge, so you can start.
Well, I'm doing similar to last week. I've got some Leffe again. But it's the Ruby Leffe, and I had a little bit of this last night with the steak.
Is it Leffe over?
Hey,
did I do that joke last week as well?
You did exactly that same joke last week, yes. So it is from last night. I wasn't that impressed with it, in all honesty, but nonetheless, I feel obliged to drink it again. And it's a bit of the taste of it is almost a bit cider. It's a bit sort of fruity and a bit, would you call it maybe aromatic or fragrant?
Yeah, floral maybe.
Floral, perhaps. Yeah, I'm not.
Is it a bit like a wheat beer, Leffe? Because I don't like sort of the wheat beer taste. Really, it's not something I've never been keen on.
I don't know. In all honesty, I don't think it is. Well, actually, that said, there's a picture of some wheat on the front on the label, so I'm assuming if she's just there, that looks like wheat. Can you see that, Jim? But you're not even looking here. Is that wheat?
Where does it say that? Sorry.
Well, it looks like there's some wheat there just on the label.
Oh, yeah. Maybe then.
So you can see how massive... That was my finger coming shot, by
Yeah.
the way, for anyone unsure. So that's what I'm drinking today. I'm going to have a quick taste of it now. And it tastes a bit sweeter. I mean, it says ruby, and it says that it's... Well, I don't really know what it says on it, to be fair, 'cause it's written in Belgium. Or Flemish, rather. So, yeah, it tastes a bit like almost a Copperberg-type cider, perhaps.
Okay.
So, on to you, Jimbo. What have you got?
So,
Is it something that you've ordered from some kind of beer subscription service?
Yes, or picked up on my travels when I've been past a beer shop. It's quite handy, the beer subscription service, because obviously we're not really supposed to be going out that often, are we? So, I try to do what I'm supposed to do and stay in and not make unnecessary journeys. So the beer deliveries can be quite handy, actually. So this is Brew Infinity, and it's good. It looks which is quite. I mean, and SpaceX had something crash this week in testing. I don't think anyone got hurt, but they've had something crash, haven't they, in their testing, so on.
I think it was just their computer, wasn't it? So just restarted it.
The Quantock Brewery this is from, which is based in... I'm trying to find out for you. In Somerset, Taunton. There you go. And it's a double dry hopped pale, 4.5%. And it's from the Past, Present, Future series. It's got the hops in it are Amarillo, Chinook and Citra. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be nice. I've been looking forward to having this one, actually, 'cause from reading it, I thought it was one that kind of matches my kind of taste. Now, I do, on my Ale and Audio, going back to the best podcast, of course, better than any future Steak Ale and Audio podcast that there might be appearing soon, I do like to kind of leave little, kind of like beer reviews, but I use it as a record to remember what I've had and so on. Now, I don't put beers. People think, like my friends kind of, I think they sort of picked on me a little bit, saying, do a review on every beer, but I don't actually review every beer, because I don't believe in giving a bad review to a beer, because if I don't like it, that's not the beer's fault if it's not my taste, is it? Somebody else might. It's completely sort of things like tasting it. It can be completely like, I don't know, depending on the person.
You can review something even if you don't like it. You can appreciate the quality of it.
Yeah.
You can say that this is a taste of it, which is perhaps not quite to my palate, but nonetheless, it does have quite a strong taste of, pineapples or whatever might be on there.
So I tend to just put on the ones that I've enjoyed, really, rather than every single one. And if there's one that I've really not liked or struggled to drink, I just won't post it. And also every beer that I do taste tends to, because I like a certain type of beer, a pale beer, IPAs, things like that. They all tend to have a bit of a citrus taste to them. So most of them post like it's a bit citrusy. It's a bit citrusy, but they really are. I wouldn't say it if they're not.
Maybe you could try and find out the taste of various different citrus fruits so you can give a bit more detail.
Well, no, I try to. You can't always tell, can you? So sometimes there's a bit of grapefruit in there. Sometimes it's a bit orangey, or sometimes slightly a bit of lemon or lime, whatever. But it's harder. It's not always that easy to tell.
I mean, do you ever review stouts or beers or bitters?
I don't tend to like. Well, not like them. I just don't tend to drink them as much because I certainly not. I don't like stouts. I'll put my hands up to that. Don't like stouts. See, I'm already short, so I don't want to be short and stout.
Good point. You don't have to take on the physical characteristics of the thing that you drink, though, do you? I mean, if you were, I suppose they say you are what you eat.
Yeah, I'm not going to be an astronaut anytime soon.
You can get things like ready-to-eat pizzas, can't you?
Mm.
And to be fair, if you're eating them, then you probably are ready to eat pizzas. So it's a very valid point.
Yeah.
But then I suppose there's that thing, isn't there, about what's it called? Normative determinism, where you take on the characteristics of your name and all that sort of stuff. So if you're called Mr. Bun, then you might be a baker.
Yeah.
What was it you were talking about? Was it we were talking about the other week about the bird that flew somewhere and the person who owned the bird was called
Mr. Kelly Bird.
Mr. Kelly Bird, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're Mr. Fisher, so you any good at fishing?
No, never.
Have you ever looked into your family history and if that's where the name came from?
I haven't. I've not really got that far in my family history, aside from just the people that I've met within my family. I'd be interested to see if anyone has actually traced that back. I remember we once cleaned out my granddad's loft a number of years ago, shortly after he'd passed away, and we found details of a family member from sort of 100 years or so ago. And unfortunately, there was a general gist of it that we weren't really that fussed because, passed away and no one had ever met him. So on we went.
You and your wife are fairly solid. But if you ever did have a sort of temporary mini breakup or anything like that, I'd love to be there just so I can say, "Don't worry about it, Vicky. There's plenty of fishes in the sea."
Hey, thank you very much.
I don't think she'd like me to just sort of offer a shoulder to cry on just so I can do a joke like that. But anyway.
Yeah. When I said thank you very much for the joke, I'm not sort of saying thank you very much for the suggestion that I might temporarily split it with Mark just so you can make that joke. And it's probably worth pointing out that she normally does watch this podcast, sometimes live, so she may be quite confused as to what's going on at this point in time. But nonetheless, hello.
Here's my beer, by the way, just to see the colour of it. It's got I've not poured it very well. It's hard when you're trying to press buttons and do everything at the same time. But anyway,
when you raised your glass, then I thought you were going to say, "Here's to Fisher and his wife." Sort of a temporary break, just so I can make a terrible joke.
Still one of my favourite groom speeches I've ever watched, by the way. Yours.
Oh yeah, well I made a joke.
And the quiz that you put in there as well, which was very good.
Put the quiz in there, yeah. Mm-hmm. Multiple choice, not quite the same quality of the quizzes that we get on this podcast, but there we go. All very good fun.
Anyway,
I'll not tell the joke that I made during my groom's speech at my wedding because I think the listeners would quite severely disapprove of it. Maybe one for another time.
Anyway, so from your relationship discussion about your wife and everything, on to our next feature, which is sex tapes.
Yes. So we mentioned him earlier, when it was Dustin Diamond.
Yeah.
Screech from Saved by the Bell. He made a sex tape, and I've just got details of it here. Do you know what his sex tape was called? It's actually believed that it wasn't. Most celebrity sex tapes tend to be leaked by sort of a disgruntled ex, somewhere along the lines, and it's more the case that they're filming themselves having sex, which is quite a strange thing to do, but some people do that kind of stuff, and then it kind of gets released years later. It's alleged that Screech from Saved by the Bell actually purposely. It was more kind of an intentional celebrity porno as opposed to a leaked celebrity sex tape. He sort of knew what he was doing by the sounds of it.
Okay.
Do you know what it was called when it was released, the dirty movie?
Is it going to be something to do with Bell, Saved by the Bell?
No. For example,
or is it going to be anything to do with Screech or Scream? Or is it going to be something to do with Geek?
You're there or thereabouts. It's called Screeched, Saved by the Smell.
That doesn't sound very appealing.
Well, I don't quite know what happened, but he said that he appeared to have sex with two women in a hotel room. He explained on Oprah Winfrey, who wasn't one of the women, I hasten to add, well, that I'm aware of, don't know, I've not seen it, that having played Screech since he was 12, he felt lost when the role ended for him at the age of 23. He was having money trouble, and when he was 29, he thought making a sex tape could earn him quite a lot of money quite quickly.
Why did he think that?
This obviously is a very well-written article because it just addresses that point in the next paragraph, where it says he was sat at home and the rumour was that Paris Hilton made $14 million from her sex tape. So he thought, why don't I do that? His friend said to him, $14 million, holy smokes, where's the Screech sex tape? So he went out and made it thinking that it might make around $1 million perhaps. He did say, though, apparently he used a stunt person in his place to actually have sex in the film.
Oh, right.
I would have thought that surely that is the best bit about doing sex tape, is actually having the sex bit of it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, surely you'd want to do it. If anything, you'd want it to be the other way around, wouldn't you? That you're the one having sex, and yet someone else is kind of filmed doing it and makes it look like it's them. So I think, I don't know what these ladies were like, but surely the person who actually had sex with them probably got the better deal out of that.
Mm. But anyway, of course, rest in peace.
Yes.
It's not the first time we've done I suppose we did China last week, and she was we didn't do her herself, but she was a posthumous sex tape discussion, weren't it?
Yes, she passed away a few years ago, I think. Mm. So, I mean, so very sad to hear of his passing. Did you watch Saved by the Bell as a young lad?
A few times, occasionally. Not very often.
I was quite a fan of it. I thought it was quite good entertainment programme. And a lot of the programmes that came from this production company. Was it called Peter Engel Productions, who made these programs like Saved by the Bell and City Guys and Hang Time and a couple of other programs? They've generally got quite a good moral to the story quite often about how you should behave and certain things you should do. So I thought they were actually quite good, almost educational programs for children to watch as well, and it actually touched on morality and ethics, and it was quite good, and perhaps something that's maybe lacking a little bit from today's society. Another thing that's lacking is Dustin Diamond. Rest in peace.
We used to go to college with someone who looked a bit like him, didn't we? Do you remember? He was a bit older than us.
We did, yes.
I don't know who he was. I can't remember. I don't know his name, but he definitely looked like Screech, didn't he?
He did a little bit, yeah. He was in my maths class. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, unfortunately. But there we go.
Anyway, do you want to move on to... We've got headline before we move any further on, I think. So, Headline of the week then is Boris Johnson risks humiliation over coal mines. Now, that immediately stood out to me because humiliation doesn't... he's humiliated himself quite a lot of times, hasn't he? And hasn't really seemed bothered. So I don't think opening a coal mine, I don't think humiliation's the word that they should use in that headline. It's not really humiliation for Boris Johnson, is it?
Yeah, but Jimbo, that's the front page, and that's in the book of times that Boris Johnson has humiliated himself, and there's a whole raft of things that he's done. So I think, for example, you tweeted a picture of him stuck on the zip wire, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what sort of annoyed me a little bit at the moment is the amount of government ministers who are appearing on television doing video interviews, similar to this, I suppose, and there's a Great Britain flag in the background. And it just feels a little bit sort of, maybe not wrong, because that's not the right word for it, really, because obviously we are British, and we're very proud to be British, but I don't know, it just feels a bit unnecessarily, it's almost sort of giving kind of like the wartime messages out. It just seems a little bit unnecessary.
Let's see if we're still feeling like we want to put they want to put the Great British flags up in 5 years' time, shall we?
Well,
it's very early days, isn't it? In terms of Brexit,
it's more the case that I don't know. It just feels a bit sort of over the top. I mean, it feels very staged, I suppose, is what I dislike about it. It's not necessarily the fact that they've got a British flag there. It's the fact that you know full well that to do the broadcast, someone's urgently gone and got a flag and made sure it's definitely in the background, and it adds sort of a very unnatural feel to it, which is what I dislike about it. It's a bit like I've got a guitar next to me, and if I kept putting the guitar in the background, it would make it look a bit stupid and a bit poncy.
Anyway,
there we go.
So, shall we move forward?
Yeah, let's move on.
So it's my show and tell. Now, you might remember a few weeks ago, Fisher, that I did a show and tell about my Instagram, Ale and Audio account, where I already mentioned today I post my beers and I post my Ale and Audio podcasts, and also about the Waste of Web Space podcast as well. And a few weeks ago, I did a bit of a sort of 20 questions thing where you had to guess which random celebrity had liked my Instagram post of, I think it was me asking for certain songs, weren't it? And this time...
and to be fair, to give me credit, I managed to get it after about 70 guesses after you'd practically told me what the answer was.
So it happened again. I'm trying to think which one it is. Hold on a minute. So it was a picture of a Sheffield beer that I posted, and a celebrity liked it. Now I'm just struggling to find where it is.
Who the celebrity was?
No. I know who the celebrity was, but I can't find which post it was that the celebrity liked. But I think
right, show off. You've got that many posts that celebrities like that you can't quite remember which one it is.
But anyway, yeah. So I can't remember which post it was that the celebrity liked. But anyway, I'll give you a clue to start off with before you start. Yeah.
I know what it was. It was a picture that you posted of your beer, saying, I drank this in the podcast, it got a nice citrusy taste to it, and it was nice and light.
Yeah.
I think it was that one.
It might have been that one. But anyway, so I'll give you. You got 20 questions again. See if you can do it within the 20 this time. All I will say is that this one, compared to Paul Burrell, is closer to home but further away.
Oh,
Now
close to home but further away.
Close to home but further away.
Okay. Right. So the 20 questions starting now. So what, I'm just going to guess someone based on that clue. Closer to home but further away. Is it Helen Sharman?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she's from Sheffield, close town, but went to space, so therefore further away.
Yeah.
And you say it was from the two Sheffield, so it's not the stupidest guess in the world. And although I'm not sure she's that keen on a craft beer, but we don't know everything. So, are we talking about? Is it a male?
It's a male.
Is it someone who is associated with this area then?
Sheffield, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Or has been in the past.
Has been, okay. Is it someone from the entertainment industry?
No.
Is it someone from the sporting industry?
Yes.
Okay, so formerly, are they a footballer?
Yes.
Or are they or were they a footballer?
Yes. Not that didn't count as an extra question. That's yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on 6 so far. No, 5. Sorry, so far you've asked 5 questions.
So it's a former footballer from the Sheffield area. Did they formerly play for Sheffield Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I mean, we've not got many good, well-known footballers, to be fair, who formerly used to be Wednesday players. So I'm going to say, are they still? Is it someone who people might know, even if they're not sort of Sheffield Wednesday fans?
Yes.
Okay. Are they still best known as a former footballer?
Yes.
Is it Chris Waddle?
No.
Okay. Is it someone from a similar era to Chris Waddle?
After.
After. Okay.
Oh, just a question. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions. I think you're going to do it. Win 20, no?
So is it someone from the period between 2000 and 2010 that they were sort of playing for Wednesday, roughly?
Before.
So we're talking someone, a Sheffield Wednesday player from the 90s.
Yes.
Okay.
Just counting that as 11 so far.
Okay. Sheffield Wednesday player from the 90s. Were they an attacker?
Yes.
Okay, so it didn't. Would that class sort of as a pretty much an old style attacker? I'm sort of saying not one of these modern. This is sort of the same question. I'm sort of meaning not one of these modern sort of attacking winger.
I wouldn't say they were. There was just an attacker. They kind of played a couple of different roles, but there was generally an offensive player. Not
right,
like they.
Okay. like most of them that era. So an offensive player. Are they English?
No.
Right.
You're on about 13 now, I think.
Are they British?
No.
So we're talking about a non-British attacking player. I was going to say, is it Paolo Di Canio? But you said ultimately it's not an offensive player to the off the pitch, so that kind of rules him out. I maybe don't want to say it yet, but the other one I was possibly thinking could it be Benito Carboni, who's another sort of well-known attacker, but that might be too early to kind of put that in there. So I'm going to say, has he got a name that sounds like it could be an Italian pasta?
Yes.
So is it Michel DPA? Is it Benito Carboni?
It is Benito Carboni. Yes, well done. Like I said, well done, Fisher. So I think you got that in about 16 questions, I think. So you did very well there, yeah. So I don't know which post it was that he liked, but it was one. I'm sure it was one of the Sheffield beers because I think maybe it kind of came up on his timeline because he had mentioned Sheffield or something like that. Let me have a look. I think it might. No, it's gone. I can't seem to find it. Maybe he liked it and then unliked it.
Probably that sounds quite feasible.
Maybe he saw what happened to Paul Burrell and decided he didn't want to be. But somewhere in my post within the last I think it might have been before your episode, like, 'cause I asked you, didn't I, last week, have you got a show and tell ready? So it was before last week's episode, so we're talking, not in the last sort of 7 days. But there you go, yeah, Benito Carbone, who is managing a team in Azerbaijan at the minute. And his name always crops up when Sheffield Wednesday are managerless, and he tends to do a few tweets and stuff to throw his name into the hat a little bit. But, yeah.
He's played for quite a few Premier League teams, hasn't he, Benito Carbone? Did he play for Middlesbrough, Derby County? Think of Bradford, maybe Bradford.
He played for Bradford, Villa. I don't know about Middlesbrough.
I want to say he was one of the first
definitely
Premier League
Derby
players to play for 5 different teams.
You reckon
Premier League teams. I think so. He was a good player in his day.
He definitely had his. I think in terms of appearances, he played most for us, but he did play for Middlesbrough, Derby, Bradford, Villa, Wednesday. Yeah.
Middlesbrough, Derby, Bradford. So is that 5?
Yeah.
Premier League teams, yeah. So yeah. That's impressive, isn't it?
There's a famous picture of him because they signed at the same time, didn't they? Carbone and Di Canio, pretty much.
When eating pizza.
The famous picture, and there's also other pictures from that era of them with ladies in sort of like Wednesday kits, and really sort of things that just you couldn't really get away with now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that, what I would like to point you towards is, I know you're not a massive cricket fan, Jimbo, but I'm assuming, and this might be a quiz that comes up fairly soon, in terms of, we were talking about cricket being back on terrestrial TV, and how it's great. I think personally it's great for our sport of cricket. By our sport, I mean my sport, because you're not interested in cricket, so it's not ours as such, but for my sport of cricket,
anyway, let's move on.
It kind of gets people more interested in cricket. People get exposure to it, and I think that's generally quite a good thing. And I asked you to name various cricket players, and you weren't really too sure. You didn't know many at all. You knew Joe Root was from Sheffield, and that's about it. But I think even you might know. Do you know any Indian cricket players at all?
No, but if you said
even
one,
Indian cricket players from the past.
No, but I was gonna, when we was talking about this the other day, there was a name on the tip of my tongue that I couldn't remember, but I don't think he's Indian. I think he's a West Indies player, Brian Lara.
Brian Lara, who did the cricket games, he is West Indian. Yes. Brian Lara, well known during the 90s, fantastic batsman. In particular, he scored a lot of really, really high scores. So he once scored 501 runs in one innings, scored 400 in a Test match, for example. But there's an Indian player, I think you may have heard the name, Indian cricket player called Sachin Tendulkar.
I think so.
You've heard him. He signed for Yorkshire in 1991, 2, 3, something like that. To which there is a very good book, actually, about Sachin Tendulkar's time at Yorkshire, which is published by Vertical Editions. So I think it's retails for about £12. Feel free to get in touch with them.
What is it? Is this a sponsorship I've not been made aware of?
No, but he has actually offered to, the person who runs it has bought an advertising board at our cricket ground, so I thought I'd give him an extra plug on the podcast, so well done to him.
And we're going to be sponsoring the team, aren't we?
We are going to be part of the sponsorship package as well, which we're looking forward to doing. Will it bring any listeners in? Who knows? But Sachin Tendulkar was the first ever non-Yorkshire-born player to play for Yorkshire. So when they announced him like that, with that sort of... They announced him with him wearing a flat cap and holding a pint of John Smith's, or whatever it is, as part of the welcome to Yorkshire, which I'm sure made him feel great. Just
brilliant.
The very traditional thing.
Are we moving on?
Actually, I suppose that is probably more typical Yorkshire, isn't it? Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday, you're Italian, so you can stand there with a pizza. Yorkshire cricket, I'm sorry, you're from Yorkshire. We don't care what your culture is. You're adopted ours. Get yourself a flat cap and a pint.
Brilliant. Okay, we're moving forward?
Let's move forward.
What you got for me, Fisher?
So I've got some comments. I don't really know why I've got this, but I've got various comments from sports commentators, sports commentators, but also sort of sports stars when they've been in post-match interviews or pre-match interviews and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's quite amusing, some of the stuff that kind of people say live when they're maybe not quite clued in, not quite thinking exactly what's coming out of the mouth, as we demonstrate on a regular basis, obviously. And so these are various sporting quotes and comments that are a bit sort of misaligned to what's actually happening. I mean, I do love some of these. In particular, some of my favourite ones are the misuse of the word literally. And I once remember...
Does that not annoy you, though? Or is it just... Do you enjoy that? Because it annoys me. Some things that people say really annoy me. Like, I was once... what is it? What's the word now? I was once in a meeting at work. Well, it was quite a few times, and it was a job I'm no longer in. I've moved on from those roles. But I used to be in a meeting, and there was one person who, in the meeting, they always used to say a certain word, and it really used to grind on me because he used to overuse a certain word. And I can't quite remember what that word was now, but I once sat there, and because I was absolutely terrible at listening and being, it was like at school, and I made a tally of how many times they said this particular word. And I mean, we all do it, to be fair. I know there's probably things that I say and do when we're doing podcasting and stuff, and words I say more than I should do or whatever, like overuse of certain words. But sometimes it gets to me. I pick out things like that, and it really hurts me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When I was looking around universities, there was a word that kept getting used by all the lecturers who were doing the sort of talk to prospective students, and it didn't really bother me. It's a bit like sort of in recent times, everyone's used the word unprecedented quite a lot in this last year.
Oh, that's so I hate that one.
And at universities, they kept using it. I can't remember what word it was, but there was a word they kept using quite a lot. And I went around a lot of the universities with my dad, and it'd taken time off. It'd taken a day off from working at Schweppes, obviously, and had come around the university with me. And there was a word that he kept using. And there was one time we got that annoyed at using the word. It like got a piece of paper out and was tallying up how many times they're using it. I thought, yeah, Dad, it should be me that's dicking around in these things, and you're the one who you're meant to be the one who should be like a bit more interested in this and telling me to kind of pay attention, not the other way around.
I remembered what the word was. It was essentially. But they used it so many times that nothing seemed... the word essentially should be used to make sure that what you're talking about has emphasis that this is essential. So using the word all of the time just dilutes the meaning of it.
Exactly, it's the boy who cried wolf, isn't it?
What is essential? Well, you've said it 15 times in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Do you think when that person sends an email around, just type it all in caps and bold and all that sort of stuff to draw attention to absolutely everything on there? I suppose, just jumping back to the point about literally, I mean, what frustrates me is when something is used as a metaphor, then people put the word literally in there when it shouldn't be used as that. So a few years ago, I was watching Strictly Come Dancing. It got Rachel Stevens, who used to be in S Club 7, and she said, I was really nervous. My legs literally turned to jelly. Well, no, they didn't. Okay, if you were to say I was really nervous, my legs turned to jelly, then people would think, yeah, she was nervous, so her legs kind of got a bit sort of, she was a bit wobbly and a bit shaky, and people, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Okay? If they literally turned to jelly, they would have literally turned to jelly, and they would just be. Well, you know what I mean? They don't have legs, they have jelly instead, and that's not what happened.
So she could have said, I was that nervous, my legs were literally shaking. Might have worked, because her legs might have been shaking, she might have been that nervous, but they didn't actually turn to jelly.
Yeah. I saw someone on the news as well once who said, I'm really pleased, I'm literally over the moon. You think, no, you're not. Not unless what you're pleased about is the fact you've built a rocket that can go over the moon.
Yeah, it wasn't Tim Peake, was it, saying that? Because in that case, you need to take it back.
Yeah, if it is them, then I wholeheartedly apologise. But it's just trying to use our language in the correct manner. I'm not quite sure why this sort of trend pops in. I did once as well watch someone from The Apprentice, who, and that's a great programme for people just confidently speaking words without knowing what they meant. And there's one contestant in terms of who've been criticised, and their response was, they said someone wasn't punctual, meaning turning up on time, and their response was, I've got good punctuality. I mean, I'm good at my spelling and grammar and all that sort of stuff. And also there was someone who, what was the other one? I think it was to do with saying they were rude. You want to say this person was rude and had got bad manners, but instead they didn't quite say that and said he's got really bad mannerisms.
Fisher,
anyway.
can we get on with this? My bladder is literally the size of a bit of a basketball.
Which it could be.
Could it be?
Well, I don't know. It depends how big the
Basketball
basketball is and all sorts of stuff. But that is the use of the word literally that could actually work potentially. But anyway, Roberto. So I'm going to go on things that sort of football pundits, managers, whatever, very sports people have said that are a bit silly. So what did Roberto Mancini say to demonstrate his understanding or lack of understanding of the game of football? Is it, in football, if you don't score any goals, you can't win? Or, in football, you won't keep many clean sheets if you concede?
Okay, yeah, these are the kind of things that you see in these books that you get given at Christmas, don't you? You know,
you get given like every year.
I've literally got a loft full of them. I'm not even joking. Yeah, but
could be correct use of the word literally.
Yeah. So I reckon that this one's the goals scored one rather than the goals conceded. I think.
Okay. So in football, if you don't score any goals, you can't win. You'd be correct. Well done.
Is he the one the football manager who wore the green swimming costume? Quite revealing.
Roberto Mancini.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of Roberto Mancini.
All right.
Never mind.
Sorry. Well done. You literally made me laugh. So next up, what blunder did cricket commentator Ted Dexter make when talking about an England player? Is it, he said, who can forget Malcolm Devon, when the cricketer in question is actually called Devon Malcolm? Or he accidentally referred to England spinner Monty Panesar as Monty Python.
Oh, maybe that's a good nickname though. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't mind that nickname, would you?
No, I suppose not. Depending on what scenario it's been talked about. But yeah,
is that the name of Screech's second video?
Could well be. Could be. Yeah, Monty Panesar was just running around in the field and his legs were going all over the place and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
silly walk.
It's a tough one. I'm gonna say the first one though. I think he said that, made that statement and then got his name wrong.
Okay, so who can forget Malcolm Devon when the player in fact is actually called Devon Malcolm? You'd be correct. Well done.
Happens a lot, doesn't it? I do this a lot, unfortunately. Like, you know, people whose names have who've got names that could be the first and the second, like names that are both names, like first names.
Yeah,
I do this all the time, and particularly when I've started a new job and I haven't met these people because it's been locked down for so long and we've been working from home for so long. There's a lot of people I haven't met at work, and there's a lot of people in my team who've got these names that are, you know, like I don't know, John Terry, for example. He doesn't work with me, but that kind of thing. And I keep calling when they log on to online, you know, like on the like video chats and stuff like that. I keep calling them by the wrong name. It's taken quite a long time to stop doing that. There was even somebody in our team whose surname, he won't mind me saying, even if he did watch this, he won't mind me saying it. His first name was Jason, his second name's Ruffle, and for some reason, he once logged on and I went, "Hi, Russell." No, not that his second name was Ruffle, not Russell. I still end up calling him Russell, and that's what I did in the first few weeks of starting my new role. But anyway, if he is listening, I've not done that since. So
on that point, in the last year, I have got quite good at saying saying the name of a place I used to get confused quite a lot. And this is because a few years ago, I went and we stayed overnight for 1 or 2 nights. A couple of years ago, sometimes we go around August Bank College just for a day, so just to a different part of the country I've not stayed at before. And on this particular occasion, I went to a place, and whenever I told people about it, I couldn't quite remember what it was called. I never guessed what the place was called. But as of the last year, I've got to know the place quite well.
Is it somewhere that's been in the news a lot?
Somewhere that's been in the news quite a lot.
Is it... it's not Durham, is it?
It's close to Durham.
Is it something to do with Dominic Cummings?
Dominic Cummings, yeah, or Cummings Dominic, I can't remember what his name is.
It's not...
So
Go on then.
Barnard Castle, which on a number of occasions I refer to as Castle Barnard, because I don't know why, just it's two words, because you've never heard of the place. There's times where I just call. I went to Barnard Castle. Castle, I can't remember.
Is it good then? I've never been before.
What was that? Sorry, Jim.
Have you been there? Have you been there before then?
I have been there before.
Is it good?
Yeah, it was all right. I think it was the year 2018, probably. Wasn't a huge amount there. It was just one of these market towns, out sort of kind of in the middle of nowhere a little bit, in the sort of North Yorkshire.
And did it clarify that you could see okay and everything?
Yeah, that's the only reason I went, just to make sure I was. I thought, I'll tell you what, the best thing I can do is drive a certain distance with various loved ones in the car, just to make sure I can see okay. But yeah, it was a pleasant enough morning out. I think we went there, then we went to Richmond, and then we went somewhere else, kind of one of these sort of market towns for a little bit. Then went to the Yorkshire Sculpture Park on the way back home, which was a very good day out as well. So I would highly recommend that. But there we go. Anyway, moving back onto the quiz.
Once filmed a wedding at Yorkshire Sculpture Park.
Did you? Was everyone just sort of stood there like that?
Yeah.
Looking sort of very still and in strange poses. Did the wedding video that you produced afterwards, was that good?
It's my first ever wedding video I've done, I think, and it's the last ever wedding video I did as well. Yeah. Mainly because I went round saying to people, how do you know the bride and groom? And when it was the groom's dad, it was. No, I'm joking. No, I didn't really, but I did a decent job, I think.
So, is this not another business you're going to try and do, dressed as the greatest wedding showman or something like that?
I can tell you something about that day though that was very funny. So I was supposed to be going with my partner, and because it was the person who was getting married was although they were kind of, we both knew them through work and so on.
I think I know what you mean actually. I can't remember the names, but I do know what you mean.
Do you know what story I'm about to tell?
I don't know what story you're going to tell, but I know the people who are getting married.
Anyway, so I don't know if you do. It was through work, you see, sort of thing.
I think I do know.
Oh, you do know? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, it turned out my partner got ill and couldn't go, but didn't find out didn't realise she was too ill to go before the actual didn't find out until the day. So it was like, what do we do? Because to bother a bride and the groom on the day to say, look, we're not going to go. There's going to be a spare seat and all that kind of thing. So I phoned up my mate from work who was going to the night do, Gary, who is a huge fella,
Gary,
really tall, and I said, look, this has happened. Can you come along and be my sort of plus one? So there's not an empty seat, and I don't really want to bother, around the groom and the bride on the wedding day. So do you mind coming along with me? And anyway, so obviously she saw us there all day, and she was like, and basically Gary had gone along as my partner. And it looked really, really odd because it was just the difference between us and so on. But yeah, anyway, that was quite funny. So
yeah. I'm sure you made a lovely couple.
Yeah, we did.
Rob and Olivia?
Yes. How did you know then?
Oh, that's a long story.
Okay, for another time.
Well, they originally asked me to do the
wedding video
and audio for their wedding, but he said they got someone else in who wasn't as good as me. Apparently, never mind. So anyway, next up, Gary Neville. How did he show a lack of understanding of natural landmarks? Is it, he said, we're climbing a mountain and it's a case of sink or swim? Or, he said, when you're at the top of the mountain, you either fall off the edge or keep climbing?
Remind me the two options again.
So he said, when you're climbing a mountain, it's either a case of sink or swim, which is obviously more commonly known as crossing a river. Or, he said, when you're at the top of the mountain, you can either fall off the edge or keep climbing.
I reckon it was. I reckon it's the second one on this occasion.
When you're at the top of the mountain, you fall off the edge or keep climbing.
I think the other one's too much of a stupid mistake to make.
No, you'd be right. Well done.
And who said that one again?
Gary Neville.
Gary Neville.
Yeah. So we've got a bit of a double one here, actually. John Hartson. How to describe Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho? Did he say they're acting like a pair of teenage 12-year-olds? I've got one word for them: grow up. Or did he say they'd struggle in Europe because they're both English managers? Apart from winning the Champions League, Mourinho hasn't won much in Europe.
Do
you want the options again?
No. I think I know. I think I might know this one. I don't know why, but I seem to think I've heard this one before. I think it's the second one about Mourinho not winning much in Europe apart from the Champions League.
Yeah, you'd be wrong.
Oh.
They were like a pair of teenage 12-year-olds. I've got one word for them.
I thought I knew that one. I thought that seemed to ring a bell, but never mind.
Yeah. Before adding, I've got one word for them: grow up. So, what did Andy Townsend say about England's opponents? Is it? It's been a tough year for Bolivia. They didn't qualify for the African Nations Cup, glossing over the fact that Bolivia is in South America. Or did he say Belgium will probably play like your typical Scandinavian team? Obviously, glossing over the fact that Belgium's not in Scandinavia.
I think he maybe could have made the first mistake because he maybe mixed up the tournaments rather than the, it might have been the case they didn't qualify for the African Cup of... No, which one was it? It was they're a South American team, of course, aren't they? So maybe they didn't qualify for the Copa America, is it, over there? That one is that their tournament?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be wrong, unfortunately. It was... what's the other one?
I'd actually not lodged my answer there.
Oh, right, okay.
You jumped in and stole my answer from me. But anyway, it's fine.
Apologise.
It's fine.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Technically speaking, I suppose he was right. They didn't qualify for the African Nations Cup, but obviously the main reason for that was because they're not from Africa.
They're not going to be disappointed about that, are they?
No, I suppose by that same token, a lot of other countries didn't qualify for the African Nations Cup.
It's a bit like Ecclesfield Red Rose saying they're disappointed they didn't qualify for the Champions League or something.
Yeah. So next up, Danny Higginbottom. I'll let you lock in an answer, by the way, just to make sure I'm not sort of jumping the gun. How did Danny Higginbottom get his numbers mixed up? Did he say it was 6 dozen of one and half of the other? Or we're nearly at the end of the second of three halves?
Okay, so answer number 3 was what?
Yeah. So first one was it's six dozen of one and half of the other, so that's what, 72 versus a half, or we're nearly at the end of the second of three halves.
Oh, no, you know what? I think I've heard it might. I've definitely heard commentators getting the halves thing mixed up. It's a game of it's a game. Somebody said something like it's a game of two halves, and we're in the the third half of the fourth quarter, or something like that. Someone did say something like that, but whether this is the same one and you've kind of put that in there to mix me up, I don't know. But I'm going to go with the first one, I think.
First one, 6 dozen of one and half of the other. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, you'd be right. Well done. How did Ian Wright describe Wayne Rooney's potential transfer? Was it, I don't want him to leave these shores, but if he does, I think he'll go abroad? Or was it, I think he'll go to Italy, or failing that, he'll play in the Serie A, which is Italy's.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know that's Italy's sort of football competition?
No, I think it's the first one. I don't. This is again one I think I've heard before, but again I could be wrong. But I think it's the first one on this one.
If he doesn't want to leave these shores, I don't want him to leave these shores, but if he does, I think he'll go and play abroad.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You'd be correct. Well done. How did Kevin Keegan describe playing in France? Did he say...
He said he'd love it if he got to play in France.
He didn't say that. Well, he may have said that at some point, but not in this question he didn't. Did he say... He'd once again struggled to pick up the language. It was a feeling of deja vu. Or, he said, he'd been at Nantes for 2 years, and nothing much has changed. Except from, it's completely different.
I think the first one would be hilarious, but I don't think it is. I think it's the second one.
The second one is, he's been at Nantes for 2 years, and nothing has changed much. except for that it's completely different.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, you're correct. Well done. Doing pretty well today, Jimbo. So next up, Joe Royle, I think was Everton manager for quite a bit. I think wasn't he? Joe Royle from Man City.
Yeah, I think he's not. I don't think he's around anymore. Is he? I think he died. Well, I don't want to say anything too soon. I think. Can I Google it, or do you know the answer to this? Does he?
No, I don't know the answer. I'm just
I think in the past he was possibly. Oh God, I've got this wrong. Never mind.
Tell you what, do you want me to ask the questions while you find out whether he's still alive or not?
I think I might have got it wrong. Yeah, I think he's still alive. Sorry, Joe.
All right.
But he was. I think a couple of times he was close to becoming manager of Sheffield Wednesday. I think I might have been thinking of a different manager who was maybe close to managing Sheffield Wednesday. But no, he's Joe Royle's still alive and well.
Well, that's good to hear. So if Joe Royle is watching and would like to appear on the show, then all you need to do is just like one of Jimbo's Instagram posts and you can get a mention that way. Thank you very much.
I hope to God he's still here by the time we do the next episode.
Wouldn't it be terrible if he passes away during the recording of this? So, how did Joe Royle get confused with some paperwork? Did he say, "I'll be writing to the authorities on the matter, but to be honest, I think I'm wasting my breath"? Or he said, "We've got a verbal agreement in place, but it's not really worth the paper it's written on"? So, I'll be writing to the authorities on the matter, but to be honest, I think I'm wasting my breath. Or, we have a verbal agreement in place, but it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Oh, they're both very similar. So, I'm going to go with the first one, I think.
I think, to be fair, if you've said the first, he's probably said the second at some point as well. Final answer, first one?
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be right. Well done. Next up, how did Theo Walcott comment end up giving a confusing message? Is it, he said, "I've been consistent in patches this season"? Or he said, "I need to be less predictable and I've got a plan on how to do this"?
Oh, I think it's the first one. Again, I think this is one that seems familiar to me and I might have heard this one before. So I think it might be the first one.
I've been consistent in patches this
I don't
season.
think Theo Walcott would have a plan. That's
Yeah.
that's my theory behind this one.
The coach could have made him a plan. He could have put it up on a wall chart, and he could have called it the Theo wall chart.
Yeah, very good.
So yes, you'd be right. Well done. Surely a master of this particular area, Chris Kamara. How did he describe the football at Nottingham Forest? Did he say, "Nottingham Forest are leading Brentford 2-2"? Or, it's end-to-end stuff, but unfortunately, it's all at Forest's end.
No, he could have said either. Is this one of these quizzes where he said both? Where one of them said both of them?
No, well, obviously they are all feasibly stuff that could have been said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not discluding that at some point they definitely said the other one, but I'm looking through the various gaff websites and stuff, and he definitely said one of these.
This is a tough one because I can imagine both coming out of his mouth. So let's go with the second one.
It's end-to-end stuff, but unfortunately, it's all at Forest's end.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be right. Well done. So I think, how many have you got wrong there? One or two, something like that?
I've only got maybe two wrong, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a good job here.
How many questions?
There's two more left. I think there's 13 in total. Next up, Jason.
Like I said, my bladder is literally the size of two basketballs now.
Right, so you're going to have to run out at some point again.
We've got the advert coming up, we say. I can go out during the commercial break.
Maybe that could be a job for Daryl to do in future weeks. He can do an audio recording of speech while people run out to the toilet.
Yeah. Mm.
So, next up, how did Jason McAteer describe Jordan Henderson? Did he say, "He's gone in hard from behind and he could cause serious injury there"? Or, "He's a kind of player who does his business in the middle of the park"?
Ooh.
So did he say he's gone in hard from behind there and he could cause a serious injury? Or he's a kind of player who does his business in the middle of the park?
Well, the first one's kind. I mean, I mean, both of them make perfect sense. I think it's just that on this occasion, these two are also could be changed for something else, couldn't they? They're not
misconstrued.
They're not stupid things to say, but the things that people could, make people innuendo, basically, innit? So
yeah.
I think it's the first one. I think people's rude minds have picked up on the first one.
He's going hard from behind. It could cause a serious injury.
Yeah.
You'd be wrong. He does his business in the middle of the park. And finally, to finish us off, it's probably my favourite in this particular genre of sort of commentary witticisms that don't really make a huge amount of sense, and someone who did a bit of punditry work and possibly still does punditry work, but I'm not particularly a fan of his actual ability to analyse.
Can I guess?
Go on.
Is it Michael Owen?
It's Michael Owen, yeah.
No, can I tell you a story? I might have told this on the podcast before, but Michael Owen is my favourite.
Yes.
I've told you this story before. I mean,
I know that he's your favourite footballer, and you're absolutely madly in love with Michael Owen in terms of footballing ability.
Yeah, not literally.
Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of Michael. He was kind of and I probably speak for a lot of people my age as well. I was just getting into football and starting to like football at the time, the World Cup '98 and all that. So seeing somebody quite young, probably really at the time, not that far in comparison to other footballers away from my age. So to see someone breaking into the team and doing so well, and the kind of goals he scored and how fast he were and all those kind of things, like. My dad and my dad's family were Liverpool fans as well. So like Owen, my complete hero when it comes to like a player who made football really sort of catchy for me in the first instance. So anyway, I do a job where I get to kind of prance about the pitch at Hillsborough and so on. And a couple of years ago, we were on BT Sport, and there's a couple of pundits by the side of the pitch, and I'm there doing my thing, dancing about, being an idiot. And I run over to these two pundits, and I make a fuss out of one of them, who I recognise as John Hartson. Make a big fuss of him, and then I run off and get changed at and get back and sat in the stand, and then I find out that the other pundit stood next to him was Michael Owen, and I didn't even bother to go and shake his hand, say hello, look him in the eye, say you are my hero. I didn't get a chance to do any of that, but he's certainly not my hero when it comes down to football commentary and punditry. So yeah, go on then. What have you got?
No, on that point, my favourite sort of Michael Owen clip is, did they do a programme called something like Michael Owen's Soccer School or something like that, where he's teaching people how to play football? Have you seen the footage where he's got this goalkeeper who's about 13 years old, and Michael Owen's just blasting the ball from about 10 yards out as hard as he can, and he's got the keeper going, oh.
Yeah, and Neville Southall goes, well done, he's 13 or something like that.
Yeah. The keeper's not. This keeper's clearly not very confident and not surprised with a professional footballer booting the ball as hard as he can at him. But anyway, so next up, so it's the final question. How did Michael Owen comment on a set play? Did he say, that's a great penalty, it's just a shame it went wide? Or, that's a perfect free kick, it's got pace and whip, it's a shame it's hit the wall? Both, again, could feasibly...
Both could be said, but I think the second one's... Well, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say the second one's worse, but... Because there's not much space between the what. I don't know. I'm going to go with the penalty one, I think.
It's a perfect penalty. It's a shame it's gone wide. Yes, you'd be correct. Well done.
I mean, he missed a few penalties in his time, so understandable. Maybe he's taken a few penalties that were good but went wide. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if he was. I'm assuming he was commenting on someone else's penalty there, but there we go.
I enjoyed that, Fisher. That was really enjoyable.
Thank you very much.
And one day I hope I do get to meet my footballing hero, Michael Owen, again. But wasn't to be at the time, was it?
Well, it was to be, but you just decided to ignore him. It's not. But never mind.
Anyway.
Are we going to move on? Have we got Daryl coming up?
We've got Daryl coming up while I nip to the toilet.
Hello, it's Daryl, and I've got a new job working as the steward at the local golf club. I've decided to take the job on because people have been calling for me to be a bar steward for a number of years. I look after the catering in the bar area at the golf club. I'm more than qualified to do this as I've spent plenty of time behind bars. I look after the locker rooms, and when I'm not in the gentleman's locker room helping the members, I'm in the ladies' locker room helping me get my head down and ensuring it has been deep cleaned. I generally clean it 3 times a day just to make sure everything is spick and span. I'm very proud that our golf club has so many female members, and I was saddened to hear that one of them was stung by a wasp between the first and second hole last week. I've advised her that her stance is too wide. One of my loves in life is playing golf, and I even played against Donald Trump a few years ago. He won because he had a lower score than me, although he tried to apply the same concept to the recent US election. My wife Carol isn't too keen on my obsession with golf, and she says it brings out my sexist streak. She asked me to play around with her once, but I told her I only wanted to see her with one set of irons in her hand. I like this game, but it's so gentlemanly and respectful. When I was playing a few weeks ago, we saw a hearse drive towards us along the road behind the 6th green. My playing partner stopped what he was doing, bowed his head and removed his cap. It was a lovely gesture to the deceased. That said, he had been married to her for 45 years.
The Waste of Web Space podcast. You can find us online, wasteofwebspace.co.uk. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and Fish is always on Pornhub, dirty boy. Okay, so, Fisher, it's news time,
Yep.
isn't it? Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing, but it's news time, as far as I'm aware. Is that right?
No. Anything caught your eye?
You're jumpy a little bit at the minute. I think we have a few slight
Sorry,
internet
do apologise.
issues there, but I think we've managed to caught up. Yeah, so in terms of news then, well, of course, we've already mentioned it today, so we'll probably not talk about it anymore, but yeah, massive sadness at the loss of Captain Tom Moore, but Sir Captain Tom Moore, or Captain Sir Tom Moore. But what a amazing life he led, and amazing thing he's done over the last year for the country and for the NHS. So just worth mentioning that in our news section, of course. Somebody else who's been putting a lot of work in this year, there's no doubt in that, when it comes to guiding us through the pandemic, Chris Whitty.
Chris Whitty, yeah. He was going viral. I think he went to go and get some lunch, and he got his mask on. He always seems to wear the same clothes, Chris. But he's got like a grey suit and a white shirt and a tie, and obviously it's quite distinctive looking as well. And he was verbally abused in the streets by someone who kept calling him a liar, and it was kind of, he's got his phone out, was on selfie, and you could see Chris Whitty in the background saying, "You're a liar. What are you doing to the country? It's a disgrace." Obviously, it's not very nice, but then at the same time, Chris Whitty did choose to be a celeb, didn't he? And I mean, if you look, he didn't choose to be a celebrity. He's Britain's chief medical advisor. It's a slightly different, isn't it?
I'm losing you a little bit at the minute, Fisher. You're going very fast and then very slow. So
Right.
Just
But
take
what about my podcasting?
So anyway, the start we heard about your Chris Whitty stuff and talking about him, but yeah, is he had a bit of what was the thing with him recently?
So he was in the streets and someone was verbally abusing him, calling him a liar, and he uploaded the video to TikTok. So the person who was abusing him uploaded the video to TikTok.
I was going to say, has Chris Whitty got TikTok?
So I'm assuming Chris Whitty has got no idea what TikTok is. So he was verbally abused, and he seems like a nice gentleman, Chris Whitty, who's certainly doing his best for the country and doing everything he can. I'm not sure. Have you ever met Chris Whitty at all, Jimbo?
I've never met him, no.
I've met him once, a few years ago, at a water park.
Oh, yeah.
When I was on holiday. Yeah. Said to him, "Are you enjoying yourself, Chris?" He said, "Oh, I'm having a great time." I said, "What do you fancy doing anyway, Chris?" And he said, "Next slide, please."
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to get the PowerPoint showman on the case when it comes to their PowerPoint slides, don't they? Or just get one of those clickers, those interactive clickers that you can get, so you don't have to keep asking someone to press the button for you. Moving on then from somebody working with the government, somebody else working in government, Michael Gove.
Michael Gove. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen that. I mean, you sort of ruined the joke a little bit there, but never mind, Jimbo. That I was about to build up to.
Oh, sorry. Because you keep going slow and breaking down, so I'm trying to pick up for you because I don't know what's going on with our internet at the minute. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure if you've seen, but Brexit has basically caused our export industry, or our export volume, to the European Union to significantly drop. I think the latest figures revealed yesterday were that our exports to the EU have dropped by about 68%, which is quite a large amount. Obviously, a lot of people in the government have commented on this, and in particular, Michael Gove commented on this, saying that. Sorry, I don't know whether that came through or that's broken up. Or...
Absolutely nothing. So, Michael Gove commented on it, saying,
I think the nation's had a little bit too much of exports.
Oh, there we go. There was something we wanted to mention last week, weren't there? An accountant who got conned.
Yeah, it was. I mean, do you use Instagram at all? Well, you do. Obviously, you're saying you do because Benito Carboni likes some of your posts on there.
Yeah.
Well, are you familiar with? I mean, how many followers?
Fisher, bear with me a second because you keep breaking up. I'm going to see if I can sort something out.
Okay. We and Jimbo definitely are not Instagram influencers. How many followers on the Alien Audio podcast?
I went
you back there, Jimbo?
I went to see if I could kick somebody off. Anybody, if anybody else is in the house is on any Wi-Fi, if I could kick them off it. But there's nobody in, so.
Oh, right, okay. Must be my end though.
Yeah.
So, how many followers do you have on Instagram, Jimbo, for your Alien Audio?
Alien Audio, it's sneaking up there. It's about 159, 160 now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to say 150,000 then. But,
no.
Never mind.
It's quite a new account, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, David Attenborough got to 1 million followers in about 45 minutes, I think, and Jennifer Aniston and a couple of others.
Yeah, but, he's always posting pictures of birds, and if I did that, I'm sure I'd have loads of followers as well, but...
So, it intrigues me. Do you follow any Instagram influencers as such at all, or are you not too bothered?
I probably do, actually. I follow some beer drinkers from different parts of the world. There's a Scandinavian lady called Swedish Blonde who I follow. She likes to post lots of pictures of her drinking beer and stuff. And then there's another account, American Blonde, and she likes to post lots of pictures of her drinking beer, stuff like that.
See where this
and then
is going,
there's a Czechoslovakia blonde, and I'm joking. Oh.
Of course, the Scandinavian blonde you referred to, Andy Townsend said, "Hope you're having a good time in Belgium." So a lot of these Instagram influencers sometimes see, and so I don't particularly follow any influencers. Sometimes those things pop up or whatever on these feeds and kind of what I've sort of trade. It's a bit like you mentioned with your Bitcoin recently. So I don't know if I'm breaking up again, Jim, because you went a bit blurred then.
You know what? At some points, the conversation's completely gone to pot because this is basically what I heard, Fisher. So anyway, these influencers, bit like you with your Bitcoin.
Yeah,
that's what I got. So
right. So the Instagram influencers sometimes post messages about where you can make money via trading and what have you. Mm-hmm. And there's a BBC News article about someone who'd got involved in this foreign exchange trading because he'd seen someone who drove a rose gold Maserati or Ferrari or something, and he was a millionaire at the age of 21 and he got loads of money. To me personally, that'd just scream out that something's not quite right and legitimate. I think it's a bit strange and a bit funny. And I wouldn't particularly want to get involved in investing in that myself if it was me. But this person did, and he got conned, this fellow who was an accountant. And he went on the BBC News and sort of said, this accountant, aged, I think he was 24, lost his money due to this scam. And you'd think, if I was an accountant and I was looking after people's money for a living and advising them to sort of how they should be spending money and all that sort of stuff, I don't think I would do an article on the BBC News telling them about how I fell for a fairly obvious con about trading currency. I mean, surely it's not good business and good PR work for him, you wouldn't have thought.
Oh, I don't know.
But there we go. I don't know if we want to kind of skip on to the next. Have we got any other news stories to mention? I mean, we can talk about the bowling club in York.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
the bowling club in York.
No, you're breaking up again, Fisher. Hang fire. So,
Sorry.
yeah. Wait till we're caught up again. Okay. So, the bowling club in York.
Yeah. Someone got some weed killer out and sprayed a picture in the nice green grass with a weed killer. And unfortunately, it was a picture of a penis on the bowling green.
What is people's obsession whenever anyone gets the chance to draw something? Like, why do people insist that it has to be a cock? Why does that happen? Now, I've got actual proof that this is a thing, okay? Because let me just bear with me a second, right? A few months ago, when I was moving properties, I was trying to get rid of.
I was
trying to get rid of some stuff, Fisher. And one of the things I was trying to get rid of was like an easel type thing. You know, those like kids sort of like chalkboard type things that they can draw and stuff like that. And my dad said, "Oh, I think I know somebody who might want this easel. If you could share it with them, to take a picture so I can send it to them, and then they can have a look and decide whether they want it or not, for free." So he said, "Send me a picture of the easel, please, so I can send it to my friend Margaret or whatever and see if she wants it for her grandkids." So, I mean, I obviously couldn't resist, could I? So I don't know if you can see that. But there you go. That's what I sent my dad back.
Okay.
And the following picture was send that again. I can't send that to my friend Margaret or something like that. So there you go. Margaret might have liked it. Anyway, Fisher's gone on the very slow at the minute, but you're catching up. It's funny because on my video, and maybe the listeners and viewers will get this as well, but every now and again it picks up speed and then it looks like you're blinking at a rapid rate. It's quite scary.
I do blink quite a lot in this podcast. I don't quite know why that is. Just in general, when I watch it back, someone who's a bit more knowledgeable about stuff might be able to tell us why that is. Who knows? But anyway, given the technical difficulties with that I'm not too impacted.
Yes, I mean, I think it's pretty bad at the minute, so we may have to adjourn the podcast early. Is that the right words? No good me asking you.
Should we try doing because you do most of the talking anyway on the next feature.
We could try.
Should we just skip to that?
Let's do that then. Are we ready? Here we go. Okay. I wonder if it's because, your partner is busy looking how many more fishes there are in the sea. She's clogging up the internet.
Could be. I think she's baking actually at the moment, I believe.
Baking on the Wi-Fi. That's probably what it is. Anyway, so I've got a feature now, Fisher, called it's about celebrities who were dropped by their sponsors. Okay. So, in the past, there's been lots of incidents where celebrities have, said or done stupid things, and then as a result of that, have lost their sponsorship deals with their, obviously, big endorsers and sponsors and so on. So I thought I'd pick some out, and there's only 10, so we'll get through them hopefully pretty quickly, and hopefully you'll be able to hear most of these as well. And basically, it's just, which is the correct answer. And some of the sports stars you might know, some of them you might not, so I'll ask you at the same time whether you've heard of them or not. So first of all, then, number one, I've got a feeling you might not know this person. I didn't know them before I did my research, but anyway, Cam Newton. Do you know who Cam Newton is?
No, sounds like a part of an industrial machine, that, doesn't it? The Cam Newton.
No, it's not. And we live in an area of Newtons, don't we? Because of course Newton Chambers was pretty much the founders of Chapeltown, weren't they? That business partnership back in the day. But anyway, this is different. Cam Newton is an NFL player who was sponsored by yogurt company Danone. Why was he dropped though? A, he was photographed eating a Muller yogurt in public, which was then printed in a magazine. Or B, he said to a female journalist, Funny to hear a female ask about the sport.
Ooh. I mean, I suppose he is allowed to eat a different brand yogurt. I mean, because it was, as well as being a famous American football player, he was also involved in quite a bad ski injury, wasn't he? If you remember? He slipped on a yogurt in the supermarket.
Ah, very good.
Thank you. Sorry, did my sound break up then, or did it work fine?
No, it worked fine. Your joke came through.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Never mind. So I don't think he can get done for eating it. I don't think he'll get dropped from your label just for eating a Muller yogurt. I mean, unless he was particularly eating it and smothering himself in it and saying, "This is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Amazing." I think he probably is allowed to eat something that's of a different brand.
So are you going? You broke up again, so I'm presuming based on that you're going to go for the answer that he said to a female journalist, "Funny to hear a female ask about the sport." Is that one you want to go with?
I'm going to go with that one, yeah.
And you would be correct. Well done. Number 2 then. Which brand dropped Wayne Rooney in 2011? Okay. A. Coca-Cola, after Rooney got into trouble swearing into the TV cameras during a game. Or B. Pepsi Max, after rumours about his infidelity with old ladies. Rumours, we'll say, by the way. So you've just broke up again. Keep going, Fisher. This is a lot like my Ale and Audio podcast where I'm just sort of sat talking to myself. You're back with us.
Yeah, so I heard the first one. So the first one being that he swore at the cameras during a game. I didn't get the second one, so unfortunately, so could you repeat that, please? Pepsi
Max, after rumours about his infidelity with old ladies. Rumours, just reminded. Allegedly.
Yeah. What year was it?
2011.
2011. Did. I mean, I think he was allegedly at it with old ladies well before then. So, Pepsi Max, Coca-Cola. I think it might be Coca-Cola and him swearing at the cameras.
Well done, you are correct. It wasn't just that, but that was kind of like the final straw, I think. He got into a bit of trouble. I can't remember exactly why he did it. I don't know if he'd been under a lot of pressure at the time in the papers and stuff, and then I think he swore down the TV cameras and a bit of a swipe at the media, I think it might have been. Don't know if you remember that. Next, then. Yeah?
No, so I was going to say, Rooney seems to be quite a target for the tabloid press, unfortunately, for some unknown reason.
Yeah. Next, then. Which brand dropped Michael Phelps in 2009? Was it A, Kellogg's, after photos of him allegedly smoking cannabis emerged in a newspaper? Or B, Zog's swimwear and accessory brand after he was arrested for drink driving? So just a reminder there while Fisher's internet catches up. Which brand dropped Michael Phelps in 2009? A, Kellogg's, after photos of him allegedly smoking cannabis emerged in a newspaper? Or B, Zog's swimwear and accessory brand after he was arrested for drink driving? Oh dear, we're having a nightmare today. It was been fine for most of it. What's going on?
Sorry, we were breaking up again a bit there, Jim. So I'm not quite sure what you said there, Jimbo. I know he has been arrested for. I know he has been pictured smoking cannabis. So I think Kellogg's may have dropped him for that.
Well done. He has also, unfortunately, been arrested. Well, it's his own fault, obviously, for drink driving, but that wasn't a true one about Zog's dropping him. Number 4, then. Why did Coca-Cola drop Ronaldinho in 2012? A, for drinking a can of Pepsi at a press conference, or B, for consistently not turning up for PR events, advert shoots organised by Coca-Cola?
Well, about fairly plausible.
But judging by your earlier sort of
Ronaldinho's a nice fella, but
you were saying earlier on that surely you're allowed to drink other brands and stuff like that.
Well, there's a slight difference between sort of actually taking it to a press conference with you. He could maybe say that if he's there sort of almost in a corporate environment, if he's at a press conference, you would have thought he'd be prepared enough to not
Yeah, see what you mean.
Yeah, with the American football player eating the Muller yogurt, I mean, if he was at a cafe somewhere and all they sold was Muller yogurts, I think it's entirely reasonable that he would eat a Muller yogurt. If Ronaldinho's at a press conference, he's got the option there. Does he want to take his can of Pepsi on with him or Coca-Cola or nothing? He can say, I'll tell you what, I'll just take some water instead, for example. As we're not turning up to press conferences quite a bit, I sort of think that probably footballers get paid that much that they almost don't have to turn up to the various media engagements that they're involved with. So I'm going to say that he just kept not turning up to various events, so they got rid of him.
No, wrong. It was the fact that he admitted it was a stupid mistake, but he took a can of Pepsi to a press conference with him, not thinking that his sponsors were Coca-Cola. Next then, number 5. In 2008, why and who did Sharon Stone lose a contract with? Okay. A tights manufacturer. No, I'm joking. A watch brand Hermes, which is not the same as the delivery company, after she was videoed being rude and obnoxious to a female waiter at a restaurant in New York. Or B, Christian Dior cancelled a modelling contract with her after saying that after she said that an earthquake in China that killed 69,000 people was karma for China's treatment of Tibet. So once again, why did in 2000? Sorry, go. Did you get both of those answers, Fisher?
I got both of those. Yeah, I was going to jokingly jump in and say, was it a underwear manufacturer because it transpired that she didn't wear any or something? But you sort of did that with the tights, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I think that. No earthquake surely has ever killed 69,000 people. I mean, that'd be a seriously large amount of people, wouldn't it? I mean,
I think it did. I mean, unless I've got my research wrong, but this is what I read.
Sounds like red areas.
I wouldn't have made up a fact like that one, unless
69,000 people is a seriously large amount of people. So I'm going to say it was. I'm going to say she was rude to a waitress. And was therefore dropped by whoever it was who dropped her.
Wrong. So no, I think it did. You know, I think it was quite a large earthquake that killed a lot of people apparently. But that's what I read. You might have to check my facts there. But in the story that I read, it did kill a lot of people. So
okay, I'm reading the story. I've not got a number on it just yet, but let me have a look. Carry on anyway.
Fisher's fact checking me. So anyway, next from fact checking to fact checking, who did Slim Fast cancel a contract with in 2004? Was it A, Jerry Halliwell, after they claimed she had gone too far with her weight loss and was promoting an unhealthy image and lifestyle? Or B, was it Whoopi Goldberg after she criticised President George W. Bush?
Oh, they're both fairly plausible, aren't they?
I don't know if this is a better episode because of this breaking up, because it turns you into something quite funny. It turns you a bit robotic. It's like your batteries are running out, Fisher.
Well, maybe these podcasts last long time. I've not been plugged in for long enough. So Whoopi Goldberg, I'm going to say it's Jerry Halliwell because she looked very thin at times. So maybe they said she was being quite unhealthy.
No, it was Whoopi Goldberg criticising President George W. Bush, but she said, well, she as a comic, she's not going to change. She always makes comments about presidents and stuff like that, and it's part of her act and also. But this in particular, these comments were made as part of like a bit of a protest or campaign sort of thing. Anyway, and obviously they want to be involved in politics. So there you go. Number 7. Who did actress Sybil Shepherd last from the? I don't know if you know Sybil Shepherd. Do you know who she is? Have you heard of her before?
No,
so
never heard of her.
She's in films such as Last Picture Show, Taxi Driver, and Heartbreak Kid. Who did she lose a contract with in 1987? A, it was that she agreed to endorse the American beef industry in a series of TV adverts that were filmed and screened on TV, but then she did an interview with a magazine where she said she doesn't eat red meat as part of a beauty routine, so the American beef industry dropped her. Or B, was it C&A? They dropped her after 4 years working together when she was caught up in a row involving Peter, who accused her of wearing real fur.
Maybe people wearing real fur.
So
They're still quite a big company, isn't it?
you broke up quite a lot there. So, but you think you're going to be going with the CNA answer then, over wearing real?
No, I think it's the first one. I think it's the beef. I'm gonna say beef.
Okay, and you'd be correct. Well done. Very, very sorry about the internet issues we're having today. If you are trying to watch live, or even if you're watching not live, because unfortunately it's going to be picked up on there as well. Next then, who did Nike drop in 2016? Is it A, Manny Pacquiao after he made homophobic remarks in a TV interview, or B, LeBron James after speaking out against Donald Trump on numerous occasions?
I don't think that Nike would be particularly pro-Trump. So I think it might have been Manny. I think Manny Pacquiao said something once in an interview that may have caused him a few areas of controversy and therefore dropped from Nike. So I'm going to say it's the first one.
Well done. LeBron James has spoke out against Donald Trump. Of course, we can't forget that. On many occasions, but no, he wasn't ever dropped from any sponsorship deals, as far as I'm aware, because of it. Number 9, then. What did American...
Can I just jump in, Jimbo? The earthquake in China had a death toll of 2,698 people confirmed. And the death toll was nowhere near 69,000 people.
I will find that article out, and I will... It's obviously wrong in the article, unless it said something like for injuries, or I'm sure it said like fatalities or something, which means death, doesn't it? But I will find that out, and yeah.
I don't know if the magnitude of it is 6.9 MW. So I don't know if that's possibly causing the problem on what it was on the Richter scale.
I did. To be fair, when I read it, I did think it was quite a lot, and that's why I read the article again and checked. But maybe I should have checked on another article. But it was, it seemed to be. I'm trying to remember what website it was, fakenews.com or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, no, I will check that out. But I did think it was quite a large number. Anyway, especially with the amount of deaths we've got with coronavirus and stuff like that, I did think, well. Anyway. What did American comedian Kathy Giffin do to lose a major sponsorship in 2017? She
posed with someone's head being chopped off, I think, didn't she?
Oh, so you don't even need any answers here?
No, I vaguely remember the story. I know Kathy Griffin is because she's been on Whose Line Is It Anyway a few times, and it's quite good. So I'm not sure what the options are. I can't remember exactly what the story is.
Do you know whose head it was?
Is it Trump?
So I've just heard you going, was it Trump? That's what I got. So I'm presuming you said Trump. So there you go. And you would be correct. Do you know who she lost? What sponsorship it was that she lost? There's no sound coming from you, so I will tell you, and I'll tell everybody what sponsorship it was that she lost. She lost a sponsorship with a company called Squatty Potty, which is a tool which raises your knees when you're using the toilet to make your poo easier. So there you go.
Why does Donald Trump having a head or not having a head make any impact on your ability to use that product?
I don't know.
Well, quite rightly, there is nothing wrong with being nice to people.
I think we're all glad to know that we are getting on to the last question now, because we need to end this podcast because it's just
trying to encourage that mindset.
Because technically this isn't working. So in 2010, how much money did Tiger Woods lose in endorsements? Was it A, $13 million or B, $22 million?
Obviously, Tiger Woods was quite busy. The amount of times he got a hole in one during that year is quite remarkable. What did you say? I'm going to say the second one.
$13 million or $22 million. You're going for the second one, and you would be $22 million. That is correct, yeah. There we go.
Obviously, a lot of people were absolutely shocked, including the steward of his local golf club,
Daryl.
called Daryl. Said, what was happening? Thank you very much for the question, Bow, for the half of it that I heard.
Yeah, I think we're gladly going to end this podcast now anyway, because it's technically it's really failed as the last sort of half an hour or so, hasn't it? So let's bring it to a swift end. Thank you very much for watching, listening, watching back, listening to us again online. It might not be the best episode because of technical issues, but I think we started off, the first half of it was cracking, amazing stuff. But anyway, Fisher, if you're still there, please say goodbye. He's just looking. It looks like he's not even on the same planet as us.
Very much, Jimbo. Goodbye.
That'll do. See you later.